Hello, welcome back to BloomTV. It's Annie here again, and today I'm going to do my favourite films. And there are 6 films here, and if you want maybe you want some recommendations for new films to watch, all of these are fairly small scale. I have no major blockbusters here. Not that these are all indie films, and they're not all the same genre either, so I think everyone would find something that they'd enjoy here. And the first one is a Welsh independent film called Hunky Dory. This is fairly recent. I think it was released in 2011. It's very good. It's got Minnie Driver and Aneurin Bernard in it. Aneurin Bernard is a Welsh actor. You might have seen him recently in The White Queen. He's one of my favourite actors of all time. I think he's brilliant. And it's set in 1976, and it's about a small drama class. They've got a new teacher, and she's a failed actress. She's just come back from London to teach drama in her hometown of Swansea, or Port Talbot is where it's roughly set. And she wants to do a production of The Tempest, but to make it more approachable, she sort of makes it into a rock musical with songs from Bowie and ELO and Velvet Underground and the Beach Boys. And it's a very summer film, and it's brilliant to watch when it's summer, and depressing to watch when it's winter. The fashion's brilliant, and I must say I love the fashion, and also the music's brilliant. So if you like 70s music, I definitely recommend this. Just sort of and even if you like the period, like a study of the sort of being young at that time, it's got a lot of youth culture from that time in it, and I really like that about it. And it sort of follows the young these kids are not kids, like teenagers around. They're like all 16, 17. They're just leaving school, and they're all interlinked, and how they sort of, like, dislike, love each other, and it's really good. So I'd recommend this. The next one is kind of a classic. It's Joe Wright's 2005 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, and with Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden in it. Now, a lot of people don't like this version. They prefer the BBC 1995 adaptation, but although I love that one, this is probably, I prefer this one because the way it's filmed, it's beautifully filmed. Music's really great. The music's by Dario Marianelli, I think. If I'm right. I am right, I think. And this is purely why I love it, is the way it's filmed, sort of the camera angles, the way it's sort of shot. They do a lot with moving through the house, and all the houses used to be beautiful. I want to live in all of them. And mainly the use of light. It's probably one of my favourite aspects about the film, and it really adds to it. But it's a good adaptation, and Donald Sutherland is brilliant as Mr. Bennet, so you should just watch it purely for that. The next film is The Boat That Rocked, and this is also set, well, not also, but set in the 1960s. It's got quite a few major actors in it, and it's about, I think it's sort of based on Radio Caroline, which was a British pirate radio boat, and they sort of played pirated radio, but from this boat out in the North Sea. And the main character in this, he's called Carl. He's 18, he's just been kicked out of school, and he comes to live on his godfather's boat. His godfather owns this pirate radio ship, and it's about sort of their struggles to survive, because the government are trying to shut this boat down by cutting out their advertising. And it's got Bill Nighy in it, another one of my favourite actors. It's got Rhys Ifans, another one of my favourite actors, also Welsh. Nick Frost, Kenneth Branagh, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. And it's just a brilliant film. I'd really recommend this. It's really funny, and the music's great as well. The next film is set in the 80s now, and was filmed in the 80s, and it's Desperately Seeking Susan. And this is one of the first films that Madonna did as an actress, actually, and it's also got Rosanna Arquette and Aidan Quinn in it. It's about this housewife, and she's bored, she's stuck at home. She's very young, her husband's a salesman for hot tubs, I think, and she escapes to New York on the Greyhound, and she's sort of been following these two lovers, sort of, I guess, communications, and they communicate meeting places through the ads columns, and so she sort of goes to find those. She's sort of been following their story through the newspaper, but then she gets knocked over and gets concussed, and she gets mistaken for the woman in that relationship, who's Susan, which is Madonna's character. And it's all sort of about that and the confusion, and they become friends eventually, Susan and Rosanna's character. And it's just brilliant. The fashion's brilliant. The music's quite awesome as well. I mean, just look at that. It's classic 80s, and I love this. I think it's really good. I've seen it quite a lot, and I'd recommend it. It's just light, nice chick lit, I guess. And then this penultimate one is An Education. I've seen this so many times. It's got Carey Mulligan in it, and it's a ton of other amazing people like Peter Sarsgaard and Alfred Molina, Rosamund Pike, Dominic Cooper, Olivia Williams, Emma Thompson. And it was the film that I think first sort of shot Carey Mulligan to fame. It's the first sort of major film she was in. She was the main character. And the story is, it's a 16-year-old girl. She's called Jenny. She's living with her parents. She's an only child in a suburban area of London, quite middle class. Very academic, really clever. She's set for Oxford. And then she meets this guy, and he's a lot older than her. He's about 30-ish, 40-ish. And I won't ruin the ending for you, but they have a sort of a love affair, and he takes her to Paris and all these wonderful things. She meets all his friends, but he's not quite as he seems. You'd sort of guess, I guess, from the beginning. And it's actually based on a real story, and I really like this. It's brilliant. I think Carey Mulligan is brilliant in this. She's one of my favourite actresses, and I would definitely recommend this. And it's a good study of the period as well, 60s, I think. Not that I would know, but it is good. Then the last film is another 60s, 50s one, and it's Nowhere Boy. And this is a sort of John Lennon biopic. It's about him and his sort of, when he was growing up as a teenager. He lived with his aunt and uncle, and yeah, it's pretty good. As I said, he goes to live with his aunt. The aunt's played by Kristen Scott Thomas, and she's quite strict, but it's about him, and he meets his mother again for the first time in a long time, and it's sort of about him and when the Beatles were first formed, and like when he meets Paul, and it's got brilliant music in it. I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson's really good in this, so is Anne-Marie Duff and Kristen Scott Thomas. They're brilliant in this too, and yeah, it's a good thing if you like the Beatles or Britain in the 60s, or just music in general. It's good. So yeah, those are all my favourite films. I was thinking about doing maybe a separate video, but more about sort of like teenage chick flick, because that's another sort of genre I watch a lot of, and I thought you might want to see something like that as well, which are quite different from this other set of films. So if you want to see that, just comment in below or give this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe. The button should be up there somewhere, and I will see you guys all soon. Bye!